Pirkei Avos. Rebbe Yomer, Rebbe says, Ezehu derech sheyovel le'hodem. What is the path that a person should choose? Kol shi tiferes lo yiseho v'tiferes lemin odom. That which is beautiful for the one who does it, and beautiful in the eyes of others. This is a very, very strange statement. Rebbe was the leader of the last generation of the Tanoim, the teachers of the Mishneh. And he is the last authority of the Mishneh in a long chain of great teachers. And Rebbe is asking, what should a person choose as a pathway for his own life? That's a strange statement. He's already had 30 some odd generations of Torah scholars and the tradition of the Torah. Why should there be any other pathway that a person should entertain? Why does he have to go ahead and identify a pathway outside of Torah? And the answer is, how does a person know that something is true Torah, that it's authentic? How do I know that this is authentically Jewish and authentically desired by God? Rebbe lived in a time that was tumultuous. There were other groups who claimed to be authentic Jews, including the Sadducees, the remnant of the Sadducees, and the Christian sects, who really were extreme Sadducees. And these groups were wreaking havoc on other Jews who were ignorant. And how is a person supposed to know and identify that which is Jewish? Furthermore, down the line, in future generations, how is the average boy or girl supposed to know what is an ideal that is worth living for? How do I recognize that something is a true ideal? So Rabbi Judah the Prince identifies that very clearly for us. And that is as follows. God does not demand extremes. God doesn't want us to sit on flagpoles, or to fast, or to meditate for 23 hours a day. God asks us to live a normal life and to be normal. And so the question is, if all we have to do is to be normal, what's so special about that kind of life? The answer is, the Torah demands excellence. But the excellence that the Torah demands is the kind of excellence that people feel accomplishment in and others want to copy. If you want to know when something is genuinely coming from God, if it supposes a certain value, if it demands a certain type of activity, the question is, what does that activity do for you? Does it make you feel that you've accomplished? Yes, perhaps. And the second question is, how do people look at that? Do they want to do the same? Do they want to mimic you in what you're doing? So, number one, it has to be something that is an accomplishment for you. It's a challenge for you to reach that goal. And number two, after the challenge, will others want to be just like you? Many people consider that people who are celibate, never marry, and control their desire for sex and never have children of their own, that this is a great accomplishment of self-sacrifice and personal development. However, nobody else wants to do that. Nobody wants to follow in these people's path. Rabbi Yehuda the Prince says, that's a sign that that's not what God wants. God wants a value. God wants an accomplishment that is great for the person, but that others would also want to do. By looking at that person, they want to be like that. A person who's charitable, who is kind, who is always on time, who is always there for others, a person you can count on, a person who is fearless, a person who is strong and dynamic and enthusiastic. These are great accomplishments. Other people want to do the same thing. And so, Rabbi Judah the Prince teaches that any time you have a value that is a challenge for you, but others don't want to be that way, that's a sign that it's not from God. There are many people who fast excessively, and people think that this is a great thing, that the person has been able to control their appetites for such a long time. But nobody wants to behave like that. There are people who are insomniacs, and if they study Torah all day long and all night long, people look up to that. But nobody wants to be just like that. People don't want to have dark eyes, dark rings around their eyes. They want to be able to be alive and enthusiastic and look good and feel good and be healthy. So this is not a value. Staying up all night, even if you're studying Torah, it's not a good idea, except on Thursday nights. Sometimes it's a good in preparation of Shabbos. But as a general rule, people have to have sleep. And people have to eat. And fasting and not sleeping. And wearing torn clothing. And not caring about the way you look. Maybe it may be a great value, but nobody wants to be like that. Then it's not a value that the Torah demands of us. What does Torah demand? The Torah demands that we be wise, that we become knowledgeable and understanding, and being able to discern things, and be able to figure things out, and be able to have a broad range of knowledge in many different things. That our analytical skills should be proper so that we come to the proper conclusion, so that we can lead people properly. So the Torah wants us, God wants us to be wise. Do people want to be wise? If you see a wise man, you better believe it. They want to be just as wise. God wants us to behave properly, to give respect to others. Is it an accomplishment? Of course it is. It's difficult to give respect to someone else other than yourself. Do people want to emulate that? Yes. They want to learn how to be respectful, how to be mindful of others, how not to speak badly of others. The Torah demands us to be charitable and giving, not to an extreme give everything away, but to always lend a helping hand, to be ready to help any good cause, to be able to have compassion on those who need compassion. Do others want to follow that? You better believe it. They want to be known as charitable and good people. And so, Rabbi Judah the Prince identified what exactly is Torah. Torah is a set of values that when the person sets his mind, he can accomplish it. And it's a great accomplishment. But then when others see it, they want to be just like that person. That's a sign that it's Torah. To be a believer that's so passionate that they're willing to kill another may be a great accomplishment. But nobody in their right mind wants to do the same thing. That's why we reject Islam as a method, as a legitimate expression of God. Because no God would make a person a violent person unless the person is attacked.